Hi, everyone. Welcome to Itsy Bitsy's live read of The Bullet Theory, Dr. Nolan Mills by Sonya Jesus. Chapter 1 Tyler. Eleanor Devereux. Case slams the door shut, leaving me alone with my thoughts and his sidearm. I wrap my fingers around the black metal and bring it closer. The smooth, shine surface conceals the ugliness of its power, and the weight is nothing compared to the heaviness in my soul. I can't escape my thoughts. They follow me around, gnawing at the parts of me they want to forgive Case for falling in love with me, for wanting a normal life with normal things. We should have known better. Not everyone has the luxury of a safe life, especially not law enforcement. Case and I dedicated our lives to helping others feel safe, only to put our lives in danger. Well, not technically our lives. I glanced down at my now flat belly and smoothed my hands over the severely scarred skin, tracing the healing ridges. Tenderly, at first, over indents exceeding from my navel to my sides, then more abrasively until the beat of my heart pulses through the pads of my fingers. I touch the loss. It pumps through my full veins, leaving me vacant. I attempt to summon a trace of positivity, but all I can muster is guilt. Disasters don't have a bright side, nor is there a healing in the aftermath. There's just loss and hollowness and a shit ton of darkness to wade through. Time passes, sinking me deeper into the obscure depth of despair. People telling me I'm going through a phase, and with time I'll somehow emerge from all the pain, healed and ready to move forward. Bullshit. Every day my heart hurts worse than the day before. There's no chance, no end, just a gaping hole inside me. One day I went from crib shopping and ultrasounds to Case bringing me in to help with an undercover case. They needed a pregnant cop to infiltrate the pregnancy center, and I was the only one at the precinct who fit those qualifications. I shouldn't have gone. He shouldn't have offered me the opportunity. Every damn minute I tell myself both things, and his words haunt my thoughts. It's safe. All we need is a layout of the ultrasound room. It was safe. The baby was healthy and strong, and the doctor under investigation for drug trafficking was kind to me. Then again, the doctor also strapped women with hollowed out rubber bellies to traffic drugs between dealers. So nice. Didn't it exactly fit him? One way or the other, I walked out of the center perfectly fine. Went to the bathroom at the bus stop where Case was waiting for me, gave him the camera, and continued on with the plan. In case anyone had been following me, I was to go shopping for baby clothes downtown until I got the all clear. I didn't make it to the store. When I got off the second bus, I was shot in the stomach. I didn't see the shooter or hear the asshole coming. I was in a blissful bubble, daydreaming about names and godparents, wobbling my way down the steps. The next thing I knew, I was bleeding, and wave after wave of intense pain crumpled me to the ground before I passed out. My son was murdered at 29 weeks. By who? I still have no clue. After I was released from the hospital and able to return to work, I obsessed over every detail of the case. Case suspected the drug doctor, while his partner suspected one of the warring gangs at the time. Considering the doctor worked with both gangs, Case and Frank pursued the angle together, but yielding nothing, at least nothing about my shooting. Me? I suspected everyone. Someone doesn't randomly shoot an unborn infant. Whatever reason had to do with me, or with Case, or with something we did. So I questioned every detail of my life and cases, dug into family members and friends, even investigated my neighbors and bridal party. Nothing resulted from it, except getting sent home on unpaid leave and mandatory counseling. No son, no job, no one left to give. No love left to give. I shut my eyes and find reprieve in the seconds between my arching heartbeats, longing for the moment when the pain becomes dull enough to breathe again. I hold my breath and hold it until thoughts still. My fingers roam over the area below my belly button. Just below the layers of skin, there used to be a pear shaped organ made of complete muscle, capable of stretching and forming a human life inside of it. But it had not been strong enough to stop a bullet. The engagement ring on my finger serves as a reminder of a happier time, but it was long ago I forget what a smile feels like. The back door swings open. I aim the weapon at the person standing in my doorway. Put that down, Ellie. Case shakes his head and closes the door behind him. What the hell is wrong with you? How was I supposed to know you weren't going to work? I lower the gun and put it back in its holster, which is hanging on the chair beside me. Another piece of evidence I'm oblivious to. Case goes nowhere without his gun. Had I been in my right mind and attentive to details, I would have noticed. I went to take out the trash. He grabs the holder and secures it around his waist. Today is Tuesday. He avoids staring at the littered countertops full of open jars, dirty dishes, and pantry items. I avoid looking at all the stuff I didn't do. So don't so don't you work on Tuesdays? He runs his hand over his thick dark hair and sighs in defeat. We have our first therapy session in about an hour. Don't you remember? I have my first mandatory session. He insists on couples counseling. No amount of therapy will ever fix me, Case. He slides into the seat next beside me. You don't need to be fixed, Ellie. You're grieving and angry and pissed off. I am too. Someone took our baby from us, but you can't do this to yourself anymore. He points to the soggy cereal and untouched spoon. You barely eat or talk or function. Ever since the captain sent you home, you've been different, depressed, emotional. I spit out words to finish his sentence. Did you expect me to be the same? My forehead right above my left brow arches. My migraines always seem to start there. I expect you to be more resilient. Resilient? The throbbing vein doesn't ease, so I cradle my head with my hands and rest my elbows on the table. Resilience is for people who have hope. I mean, he stops and shakes his head. Babe, I don't even know what to say anymore. Nothing I say is something you want to hear. Then stop talking. You rock around here like a ghost. You wear sweats all day, and how long has it been since you combed your hair? I'm worried about you. My gaze cuts to him, warning him to shut the hell up. I look better than I feel. That's for damn sure. I don't want anything to happen to you, Ellie. That's what I'm trying to say. His ordinary strong voice is softer and needier than usual, but my heart is too hurt to give a shit. I miss you. Don't you miss me? 3 months ago, I would have run my fingers through his dark hair and touched his forehead to his before placing a soft kiss on his lips. Today, I glance over my shoulder through the open space at the unmade sofa bed and visualization the separation between the two of us. Ever since getting back from the hospital, I couldn't sleep with him beside me. I blamed him and us, and it no longer felt right to fall asleep in his arms. Babe, I sigh and exhale the air between my teeth. I don't know, Case. Maybe a part of me deep down longs for Case's touch, to feel the warmth of his skin touching mine. But that part of me is buried under hours of wishing for life to rewind. No matter how much I miss the feeling of being loved, I miss my baby more. I don't know how to exist without him. Exist with me, Ellie. He puts both hands on my thighs and turns me toward him, locking my legs between his knees. We, we were us before him. I hate Case for being able to move on, for seeing life without our child, without Tyler in it. It's not the same anymore. His finger slides under my chin and he tilts my head up to meet his gaze. It can be. We can rebuild. I want to be us again, Ellie. It hurts to hear the hope in his voice, especially when I don't find anything to be hoped for. I'm not the same person. Yes, you are. He doesn't know what he's saying. For as long as I've known him, he's always wanted children. Lots of children that I can no longer carry for him. He doesn't understand the ache in my bones, the need for revenge that flows through me with every passing moment. I don't want to be those people anymore, Case. He doesn't release me, but a glimmer of shock flickers over his face before he says, "You don't mean that, or you wouldn't still be wearing this ring." He brings my hand up in the air and thumbs the diamond. "You're right." I remove my hand and slide the ring off. I hold the engaged side up and read the inscription. Three become one. Before he can say anything, I remind him, "We're not going to be three ever again." I don't have a uterus anymore, and adoption requires someone financially and emotionally stable, and that's not me. So let's work on being two first, then we'll figure out the rest. Though his tone has become harsher, he's still trying. Something I'm no longer willing to do. The only thing I want to do is find who killed our son. Then let me help you find who is responsible. They took you off the case. It's low priority since it's not considered a homicide. Last time I was in the precinct, they were chasing down a killer known as the Bullet Man. It took forever for the case to be connected, and only recently did they realize that they were searching for a proxy killer. Any leads? I switched the subject to something I'm more comfortable talking about: murderers. No, and we are up to 8 victims now. He's escalating, and we have no leads. 8 murderers, you mean? They are still victims. He solves cold cases and gives the grieving families a bullet with the name of the murderer on it. We've looked into every private investigator, cop, lab tech, and gun shop. Nothing turns up. We don't know how he's choosing his victims or how he's solving the cases we couldn't. There's no interaction between the people who received the bullets and the sender, I ask. Case smiles softly. It's dropped off through carriers. None trace back to the same person. We've hit the payment tracing leads and have nothing except more bodies and more solved cases. Have you pulled out all the cold cases and tried to find similarities? Hope finds a way to embed itself in my tone. Case picks up on it and smirks. There's the girl I fell in love with. I can pull a few strings. Maybe if we play our cards right, we can get you back to work, or I can talk to Cap about bringing you in to consult. Your expertise could come in handy. I slip my ring back on and force a tiny smile, playing the part. Maybe this is what I need, a case to distract me. But I don't want to arrest him. I want to hire the Bullet Man. Chapter 2. Subjects. Dr. Nolan Mills. I have a theory about a bullet and a tortured heart. When both items exist, the only variable is opportunity. That's where I come in. I solve the unsolved cases and provide the survivors with a chance to get their justice. Of course, choosing my test subjects requires time and a bit of social interaction. Being a cognitive neuroscientist with an emphasis on psychiatry, who specializes in grief counseling, gives me an in. With the right questions, I pinpoint key details of the investigation and find ideal candidates. An emotional scorecard, which I fill out during my first few sessions with the patient, is critical in my selection process. Priors registered weapons, level of education, forms of abuse during childhood, relationship status, intelligent quotient, history, medical history, trauma, and much more become data points in my study. Qualifying the quality of a patient's past and present provides a solemn hypnosis on his or her future. I have 3 groups based on scores. Those I presume will not seek revenge, those who I'm quite positive will, and those who I'm unsure of. Thank you for listening to this portion.